Welcome to Healing Matters. I am your host, Pastor Diandra Williams. It has been a long time since we last chat, but thank you for joining me this afternoon. We are now finally in studio. What a great accomplishment. Thank you for tuning in studio. I'm so glad to have the experience with you. And if you haven't checked out our other videos, please do so. So today's topic is going to be dealing with acceptance. Last time, our last video, we talked about the diagnosis process and the different types of autoimmune diseases. There are over 120 autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis being one, fibromyalgia being one, diabetes also being one that a lot of people are familiar with. But I want to talk to you today about what happens after you get your diagnosis. A lot of times people struggle with the acceptance of the diagnosis, but acceptance is part of the journey, and acceptance is the first step to healing. The healing process begins with the diagnosis and learning your disease and learning the effects and the symptoms and how to communicate effectively with your doctor about your illness. And the second step is acceptance, accepting what it is, accepting the limitations that may come with it, and the boundaries that you need to set with your community of people. Acceptance also means that you now have to focus on what you can do. A lot of times people, once they are diagnosed, I know from my situation, once I was diagnosed, I focused so much on the things that I couldn't do. I was so tired and fatigued and dealing with nausea and a lot of the symptoms associated with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. So there was a great weight of things that I could not do. But as I learned the disease and as I learned my body and the new position it was in, I learned to accept the things that I could do. And acceptance allowed me to pace myself, as it will allow you to pace yourself as you learn the disease, as you learn what medications work for you and some of the side effects that may or may not come with those medications. Acceptance will allow you to chart out your daily costs and to pace yourself maybe hourly or sometimes minute by minute, because the things that go on through the day may challenge you, it may challenge your energy. And so as you chart your course through the day and through the week, you will learn and understand what your body can and cannot do. And as you journey along in your illness, like I've had, your body gets a rhythm and it gets a muscle memory of the things that you enjoy, that you can do. And as your body gets into this routine, you can feel yourself getting more relaxed and not as anxious and not as nervous about what may happen if you overexert yourself, or what may happen if you're out with friends and start feeling ill. You become more relaxed as you accept what your body is now facing. Through my journey, the powerful thing about acceptance was, I said, okay, if I'm not going to be immediately healed from rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia, I have to learn to live with this. And so when I learned to accept that I can live with this sickness is not unto death. It is chronic, it's going to be there, but it will get better. It will get better. And so when you accept that it will get better one day, even if it's not the day that you're facing or that you're in. It is a day-by-day process, knowing that tomorrow will be better, next week will be better as you journey on. And also as you learn to diet and exercise, that is a big contributing factor to wellness as well, whether you have chronic illness or not. What you put in is what you get out. So if you're eating healthy foods, if you're walking, if you're jogging, if you're getting some type of exercise and using those muscles to your advantage, you're going to see some great benefits. And that is another part of acceptance, accepting what am I willing to put in so I can get good benefits out of this. I started walking. I started walking my area park in downtown Providence and on the east side of Providence, and just doing a little mile journey when I could. And I noticed that when I started exercising, I started feeling a little bit better. I started having more energy, and I started coupling that with healthy foods, things that would boost my energy after my workout, after my walk. I started incorporating smoothies and juices, things that were all natural and healthy, that would also combat the fatigue that I would experience later on in the evening after the walk. Because of course, you know, fatigue is a part of autoimmune disease. Doesn't matter which one you have, there's gonna be some type of level of fatigue. And so you wanna put in healthy foods that are gonna help you fight that, that's gonna boost your immune system, that is gonna help you be effective for the next day. And so with me, I found that the more time I spent focused on what I could do to boost my immune system, my support system, my lifestyle, my life got better. And I want to encourage the viewers that are watching, if you are someone that deals with chronic illness or have a family member, help them on their journey with going for a walk, with introducing them to foods that could help boost their immune system, maybe supplements, things of that can help them focus on the positive aspects of their life, because there's so much life to live. But if we spend our time focusing on the negative, we are depleting that time and taking away from the things that we could enjoy. And so I want to encourage you guys to be a part of this acceptance journey and help your family member or friend on their way to a new positive way of viewing life. Another part of acceptance is including your support system. Include actively and intentionally including your support system, whether you are at work, whether you have children, whether you are part of a spiritual community. Allow them to accept the challenges that you are facing. You can win a lot of victories if you have support. You can win a lot of battles if you have support. And so if you have a village, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to help someone with chronic illness. If they learn to accept your challenges, they can understand when you're having a bad day. They can understand the things that come along with your particular illness. Acceptance is a good thing, and it shouldn't be frowned upon or thought of as, you know, you're never gonna get better. Actually, acceptance is the opposite. Acceptance is, I need you to believe with me that I am gonna get better. And until I do, this is where I am. This is where life has me right now. And your focus is to be channeling people that can help you navigate through the challenges of chronic illness, navigate going to the hospital or to the doctor's visit, and being able to communicate when you cannot communicate because maybe it's a bad timing, maybe you're overwhelmed at a doctor's visit. So allowing them to accept the challenges will allow you to be able to relax and have someone be accountable and to communicate with after your visit. Acceptance also allows you to walk in peace. Peace settles after you stop worrying about all the things that could, should, might happen. Peace settles in and takes over. Peace is a beautiful thing once you let go of your old life. Peace is a beautiful thing when you stop over-explaining to people about your illness, about the challenges that come with it, about explaining why you can't make an engagement. Peace comes with knowing that this is who you are. Peace comes when you enjoy the moment, in the moment you're in. Peace comes as well as knowing doctors are working their hardest on your particular illness, on your particular case. I took peace and solace in knowing that God educated my doctors, and they went to school and they were trained and had this education, and they were going to work really hard with me to get me to the place that I wanted to be. And so I took the worry off me and put it on them in their education, in their background, in their ability to let medicine and science work for the both of us. And there's peace in knowing that there's medicine out there, there's a holistic approach to things that you can embrace, that's going to work for you, that's going to be beneficial. And there are plenty of people out here that are going through what you're going through. You can find groups and support systems that you can join, that you can talk to, that you can share your story and testimony, and find that there is a large body of people that understand what you're going through. And it took me being part of social media groups for rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, where I could conversate and share my experiences, both good and bad, and know that people got me. People understand what I was talking about, that I didn't have to over-explain or under-explain or have to backtrack. And so it was really peaceful and enjoyable to have a conversation with people, though I didn't know them and they were across the world, but they got me. They got me. They understood what I was talking about and how I felt. They accepted the emotions. Peace was a beautiful thing once I belonged to a group of people that understood. And I rest my head at night knowing that even if I felt alone in my small world, taking care of, my children and things, I could always open up my laptop, chat on one of the groups, and feel friendship, feel that I belonged to a group of people that were there for me. And that's a beautiful thing when we learn to embrace where we're welcomed. So this is a part of acceptance as well. Acceptance is such a broad thing. Acceptance can also lead you into remission. One of the diseases that I was diagnosed with was dermatomyositis, which is a rare autoimmune disease. And through the grace of God, I've been in remission for 5 years with dermatomyositis. And I believe it's because I put those things in prayer and I put it at the feet of Christ, and I focused on the things that were before me that were more challenging, that needed my attention the most. And I can definitely say, because of peace, that this is it, this is my journey. And once I really put down juggling all these autoimmune diseases and all the things that came along with it, I believe it was that shedding and that taking away that allowed me to go into remission with dermatomyositis. And it's been 5 years since I've been in remission. And you too can go into remission. There are conversations you can have with your doctor if you have goals about being in remission. Most autoimmune diseases are not curable, but they do go in remission and can stay in remission, and you can have success with being in remission. So far for me, I haven't had muscle weakness. I haven't had severe joint pain associated with DM. There's been a lot of good things that have happened once I went into remission. I've came off some chemotherapy drugs that are typically used with DM and PM. So there's some good things that can happen once your disease go into remission. And a lot of people find that some of their other symptoms associated with their other chronic illnesses actually begin to diminish as well, and also begin to subside and become less frequent. So that's another benefit once your disease does go into remission and you find, like I said, this peace that comes with acceptance. Acceptance is such a big thing. And I know in the beginning of your diagnosis, it's like, oh my goodness, this sounds like something I could do. It sounds like something I want to be a part of. It sounds like a place I want to be in my healing journey, but I'm not there yet. And it takes time. It takes time to navigate through chronic illness because every day is a different day. I sometimes feel like I wake up to a brand new body every day, not knowing what it is. It's like having a surprise party that you don't want to be invited to. But nevertheless, this is something that you deal with every day. And when you learn to approach it with a positive attitude, I believe the results work for you and work better with you. And for me, this has been a long 8-year journey, a journey that has lots of twists and turns and surgeries and different wins and losses and challenges, but accepting it halfway through, about my 3rd or 4th year, when I actually thought things were smoothing out and panning out, and then they took a turn, and I began to have hip replacements and different surgeries. I started to see that this journey was an ongoing journey, and that each year it was going to be something different, because this was an ongoing and continues to be an ongoing journey. And so I am in year 8 of chronic illness and fibro and RA, but I feel like I am in the best season of my health. I feel like this has been a phenomenal season of not necessarily a clean bill of health, but in a good spot. It's been a long time since I've been able to go to the doctors every 3 to 6 months. I used to go to the doctors almost weekly, sometimes daily, depending on how bad things were. But year 8 has been great, and that's a good thing. And you might be, some years into your journey and visiting your doctor maybe a little bit more frequently, or you might be in a place in your journey where you've kind of seen yearly and you're doing your follow-up, and that's a beautiful place to be, and we all strive to be there. But it takes time. It takes time to go through the different changes that come along with chronic illness. It takes time to journey through different medications, and that's another thing I want to hit on. Accepting the medication. Medication is here to work for you. Medication comes with its own side effects, its own symptoms, its own things. But the key to medication is accepting what you do want to take and what you don't want to take. And this comes with having a conversation and doing your research about what you're putting in your body and how it's going to benefit you in the long run. Unfortunately for me, the first 3 or 4 years, I wasn't able to do the research about the medications I was taking. It was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of figuring out what's going to work for me. A lot of times people go through trial and pill forms and then end up on biologics. Biologics were the thing that worked for me and absorbed in my body best. And I had to accept that I had to inject medication into my body on a weekly basis if I was going to be able to maintain the lifestyle that I wanted to maintain and be happy and be active and take care of my children. And accepting that I had to be responsible for being on top of my medications weekly, making sure I took it the same time every week on that particular day was a lot of responsibility, because there comes a point in time when you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of poking myself. I'm tired of ordering medications. I'm tired of taking expensive medicine. I'm tired of, fighting insurance. I'm tired. It's a rat race nobody wants to be on. But I had to take in the fact that this is what works. I can't pop a pill like some other people that pill form works for them. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of those people that pills work for them. Biologics is what worked for me. And so I had to take in the fact that this is what I have to do. It's challenging. It's frustrating being on the phone, calling in your medicine. It's frustrating having to, call your insurance, call your doctor, have them to do authorizations and things we all know if you are dealing with chronic illness. It's really, really frustrating. And that's why I can't stress enough. It's important to have an advocate. It's important to involve your community of people to help support you, because it does offer peace of mind when you are very, very overwhelmed with, the daily struggle or, weekly struggle of being responsible for your health. We are all responsible for our health in some shape or form, but when you are dealing with chronic illness, it's such a greater weight and such a greater responsibility, because at the end of the day, you are going to be the only one affected by what you do or don't do. And when I learned that this is what works, Diandra, the better I became at being responsible and taking my medication on time, making sure I got enough rest, making sure the day that I had to take my biologics, my schedule was clear, because it was exhausting. It was one of those days where you just have to take the medicine. You might get nauseous, you might get tired, you might be fatigued. And considering that these were chemotherapy drugs, there were a lot of things that I had to stay away from to make sure my body absorbed the medication. And that's another thing that came along with letting my people know that when I have to take my medication, it's not a good day. This is what happens. This is how I feel. And people understood. When you have honest conversations with the people you love, they will understand that there are times when you're just not able to do it because of the medication. And it's not an excuse, it's not a cop-out, it's just that you're not able to do it that day. And, for me, it was a great thing to be able to say, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do on this particular day. And so, I hope that this has really been great for you to accept where you are, accept that you've been diagnosed, accept the challenges that come with chronic illness, accept that you need to have a conversation with your community of people, accept the responsibility of taking your medication on time, and put in the work. Put in the work to exercise the best of your ability, to do the modifications if you have to, accept having a healthy diet and a lifestyle change, and be the best you that you can be in the moment and enjoy life in the moment. It's gonna work for your good. It really is. And I hope if you are not someone with chronic illness, that you take down some notes and share, and let this be a starter to a conversation to the people that are around you that maybe aren't able to open up, but let this be a starter. Let this be an opening to normalizing chronic illness and the things that can be beneficial to those who are suffering and who are going through the journey until they get to the other side of health and wellness and wholeness and a holistic approach of healing. And thank you so much for watching this video with me. Thank you so much for tuning in and to hear what acceptance is when it comes to chronic illness. Thank you for listening and to hearing what peace can come out of chronic illness. You know, this is not unto death. There are some beautiful things that can come out of a lifestyle change. And if you embrace it, other people around you might be going through the same thing, and they can embrace you, and you can be a beacon of light and hope and just be a light. And thank you for tuning in with me. I pray and hope that you join me as we look forward to having on other guests. We are looking forward to having more people talk about their journey with chronic illness. And so stay tuned. Please don't forget to subscribe and to stay tuned to our upcoming shows. And once again, if you have not seen our other shows, feel free to check out our other shows. We have 4 other shows. We also have a doctor. If you are new to chronic illness or are helping somebody with chronic illness, tune into that show and see the conversation I had with Dr. Chan. It is a great conversation. It is great information and a guide to lead you into wellness. So thank you once again for joining me. I hope this has been great. See you next time.